This program is a media production. Looking for something different than the big banks? Milltown Credit and Union is for you. With personalized attention, we offer competitive auto loans, 9.5% fixed-rate credit cards, and savings accounts with attractive interest rates. Achieve your financial goals with a service focused on you. Visit us at milltowncu.org. Feel the difference. We started this podcast today. Good morning, good noon, good afternoon, or good evening, because people watch this program at any time. I am Diana Oliveros, and well, the year has also passed. The year 2024 has already passed. I say that is not wisdom or anything like that. But it was a great year. It was a very significant year for us. Because not only do I say it was another year, but it was the first year of Se Habla Media. That, for us on a personal level, but also with the work that we do with our community, we are very happy to have finished this first year of Se Habla Media and to survive this year, yes, of course, for you, because the idea was that this would not make local news disappear in Spanish in this part of the upper left corner of the United States, not the state of Washington, and well, we hope that we have been able to serve you in that sense, and we have many projects, many new things for 2025 that we will be telling you about. A little more. This podcast program, Se Habla Podcast, is one, let's say, of 3 programs that we put out. The other is Se Habla Interviews, every Wednesday. Live at 10 in the morning, we have interviews with different services for the community, and well, there's a little bit of everything, and always we try to choose topics that are very useful for all of us as immigrants, and of course there is also the news from Monday to Friday at 6 in the afternoon. We are also on our social networks publishing news, information, in short, and that is what it is about. Se Habla Media, this program Se Habla Podcast. They are conversations, we touch on different topics. Sometimes we have guests. Today we do not have guests. We have a topic anyway, and it is very, very interesting that I think is very relevant also for this 2025, and unfortunately, all those attacks against immigrants. No, of course. Well, it's not news for everyone, for no one. In Jamie Mendez News, we have been dealing with it over and over again, as well as in all the news programs, and surely you have heard it everywhere. But recently there has been an increase in anti-immigrant attitudes in the United States. No, it does not only have to do with the changes in immigration policy that there will be from now on, but also people. Society in general has strongly adopted these ideas. These notions that migrants have done a lot of harm to the United States. And that is precisely the topic that we are going to talk about today, migrants. How much they contribute to the United States or how much they take away from the United States. Yes, good point, and basically the 2 topics that were used in the campaign. Especially in Donald Trump's campaign against immigrants. One was a criminal issue that we have mentioned on other occasions, and we repeat it again. Immigrants, and especially immigrants without legal documents in the United States, are the ones who commit the least crimes, including violent crimes. No, now many say that the fact that they have crossed the border and are here without papers is already a crime. Not necessarily, it is not a crime more administrative than really a criminal case. What do I know? Well, but that is what we want to talk about today is the economic issue. Because that is another war that has been made on the immigrant, that is to say, it is putting a label on them that the immigrant here is taking away jobs from those born in the United States. From citizens, it is causing the costs of rents to increase, which are indeed increasing. But it is not necessarily because of the immigrants. But well, people sometimes do not analyze this also that well. They do not pay taxes, at least the Latino immigrants in confinement. Well, that is a point that we could go into in detail, because there are certain cases in which and it has been seen in the center of Cyril. No. A large part of the increase in the cost of housing in Cyril has been due to the number of people that Amazon has brought from other countries who arrive. They arrive with very high salaries. They have the ability to pay very high rents, and that has increased the cost of housing. But that is the point, migration. Migration has not been sold in recent months as a block of people where everyone looks the same. Where the majority They are all criminals. And that is what most people are thinking. Even the immigrants who came to this country. Born elsewhere, no, yes, And another issue is that immigrants do not pay taxes and undocumented immigrants. Especially undocumented immigrants, and not only are none of these accusations real. But they are completely false, and not only are they false, but also the numbers. The statistics, which are facts that cannot be interpreted one way or another because they are real and documented facts. This shows that the immigrant, the undocumented immigrant, not only pays a lot of taxes but does not receive the benefits that he is paying for those taxes. The clearest example is Social Security. One of the pillars of the economy of this country, which is Social Security. What does Social Security mean? It is the retirement fund. In different countries it is called pensions. What other names would it have in Mexico? The pension. The retirement, basically it is a part of the money that they take from your check and that it keeps. The government keeps it to return it to you when you retire. And you can no longer work even if you have an income. Undocumented immigrants do not have the right to receive the benefit of Social Security, despite the fact that if they are working and they paid them with a check as an employee, they will automatically take the money from you, and they will take it from you for years and decades. Whether you have been working here for 20 years, 30 years and you do not have your documents in order because you are working with an insurance, different social, or with an IDEN number, they will take that money from you. But in the end, when you turn 67, which is the age to collect the full retirement, no, because there are different stages of retirement. Let's say if you want to withdraw the full amount at 67, you do not have the right to claim it, and that happens to a lot of people who have been here for many years, and those who are going to retire do not have the right to that retirement. Then this. But yes, we are contributing millions and millions of dollars to that fund, which is also a fund that is in danger and needs immigrants to survive. So one thinks, why wage war on the immigrant in something that they really need? That is an answer that I do not have at this moment because it seems completely illogical to me. And that is a discussion that has transpired in many places, but particularly on social media. And one of the responses you typically get is, it's not true. Not everyone is paying those taxes. It's true, it's true. Not all immigrants pay taxes, neither do all citizens. Not everyone pays taxes. They don't pay the taxes they should, because we come back to the point. We can't make such broad generalizations. No, it's true that there is a proportion of immigrants who do not pay taxes, but it's true. It is not just us who say it, but there are a lot of scholars, economists who look at the data, evaluate the census, make calculations that say that the contributions of migrants to the United States are positive, meaning that migrants do not cost the United States more than what is spent on them in the services they receive. And there are 5 specific things that migrants contribute to the United States. Here I have a list of precisely one of those studies. Well, many actually mention it in. One of the forces that migrants contribute to the economy is consumption. That is, the money we spend here because we earn our money. But we are also spending it here. No, obviously, we buy food. We pay for entertainment, we pay for gasoline, we pay for transportation, we buy cars, clothes, houses, studies, televisions. Well, we consume the same or more than the rest of the population. And on that, above all, except for food and exceptions, we pay tax on sales. No, there it is, the other point in which we also contribute, it's the taxes. There's a figure out there that says that undocumented people contributed $75 billion in annual taxes there. We're talking about a proportion of undocumented migration that many say is that they do not pay taxes well for. Those who say that they pay 75 billion in English or Spanish in English. Billions in Spanish, that's 75 billion. Yes, it's different from dollars. In taxes, which is an incredibly large amount of money. The other is the labor force that you already said that. Of these 75 billion, a lot is the contributions to Social Security. The United States has a population of those who were born here who are aging. It's people who are getting older, who are already collecting their retirement pensions, who are already collecting Their social security and all of that is financed by those who are paying into the system, by those who are actively working. And a good part of that is the migrant population. The other two, I'm not going to go into much detail. But the other two are innovation, business creation and jobs. We had already mentioned in a program that we are more likely to create companies, and also a good part of the new inventions, let's say so to speak, in the most important companies. 30%, the third part is created by migrants. Yes, well, this thing about the creation of taxes on jobs is from businesses that generate jobs is very important too. Because there is a great contribution from those who create a job. You also have to pay taxes, they're even more, because you pay even double. No, you have to pay as an employee and you have to pay as a business owner. You have to pay a portion of taxes, especially if they are businesses that are not ultra-gigantic. The largest businesses are the ones that pay the least taxes. And there are people who say no, but how are you going to do that? Yes, it is like that. It is because the ultra-largest businesses have mechanisms. And they have incentives from the government to operate in that state. They give them incentives, and those incentives are tax discounts. They don't pay. Well, let's not say that they don't pay. They may pay. But they pay less in relation to the amount of money they earn. Why? Because the states want all these very large companies like like Amazon, like Microsoft, not to go somewhere else. Well, in fact, Microsoft has already left. But there is a little rumor that it could come back again. We are not talking about the factories, but those of the headquarters of the main office of Microsoft, not of Boeing. Ah, did you say Microsoft? Not of Boeing. Sorry, Boeing. Boeing left and took the headquarters with it. As they say here for Chicago, but they may come back. I'm going to tell you the 5 states in that order. Where immigrants buy the most, generate the most money because they buy more things. The largest, the state of Roz, not this one. The largest is the state of California. Without a doubt, it is where immigrants spend the most money. The second state is the state of New York. The third state, can you guess what? Is that you're looking at Florida, Texas? Well, I was looking wrong. Texas, and then there's Florida, then there's New Jersey, and not far from there is the state of Washington. Washington is among the top 5, 6, I say 5, 6 because some of these numbers are data from more or less 3 years ago. It may have changed a little, but we are among the top 10 of the states where immigrants generate the most money. But not all of these states. They welcome immigrants in the same way. Not all of these states allow undocumented immigrants to open their own business. This state does. And I think that's why, and I also think that's why Washington State is one of the states that is doing better economically. Not only because of the boom, but also because the local government values and sees without a, let's say, a bias, without a what's his name. Yes, with the stereotype. Exactly, the prejudice, without that prejudice that they're migrants, then no, they don't see it. They see the real value of the immigrant, and that's why this state is welcoming us with open arms. There are many things that could change when Trump enters the White House, because they will put pressure on the states to not help immigrants as much. I think that's that pressure, and when the government realizes that we are beginning to have economic problems. Inflation has risen. We don't have people who work in the fields, and in many others, perhaps. That immigration thing was not a good idea. Let's hope that someone realizes that before it's too late. And well, there is also another issue that has to do with the fact that migrants are working in jobs in sectors of the economy that are crucial for the United States. And without going any further, we see the state of Washington. No, Washington is known for 2 things, for its technology sector. Amazon, Microsoft, what we were already saying, but it is also super well known for apples and agriculture. Correct. Washington is one of the states that exports the most agricultural products. And you know who is the majority of the farm workforce? Immigrants, totally, without a doubt. Go to any field in Yakima, Yakimbadi. Anywhere in the east, in fact, you don't have to go very far to Mount Burnham. Go to Shelton, Puyallup. Yes, go, look who is doing those hard jobs. We are the Latinos, those of us who are, the Latino immigrants, those of us who are doing that type of work. Yes, you mentioned that not all immigrants are the same. They work in the same places, they come from the same countries. There are a large number of immigrants who come from Asia, from India for example. And they work at Amazon, they work at Microsoft, they work at Facebook. It's a different type than them, because since they come with Work permits, well, they won't want to take them out of the country, of course not. But those who work in the fields do, and that is, as they say here, a shot in the shoe. And the truth is that the arrival of migrants to Washington by any means has benefited the agricultural industry, not because it is not either, it is very true. There are also many studies that indicate that migration, especially at the most basic levels of production, that you do not need to have a master's degree in computing to work, but rather it is something that is a job that one can learn. This on the fly, let's say as it can be a little bit. Agriculture generates that in Washington we can have access to those jobs and that employers do not have to pay as much. Exactly because it is not a surprise to anyone that the salaries and the employers, the farmers try to push the salaries to the minimum. And if you are an undocumented person, the tendencies are that you are going to be afraid to report. You are going to be afraid to generate complaints about unpaid salaries, about working conditions. And we are not even talking about undocumented workers, this issue of H-2A workers. Not that for those who do not know. It is a type of visas for which the United States goes to other countries to hire people to work temporarily in different issues but vary. Particularly in agriculture, and precisely this year in Washington there was a union, Families United for Justice, who won a lawsuit in which they were fighting that they were lowering the wages of H-2A workers to well below a third below what they were paying the rest of the agricultural workers. No. They won the lawsuit. Yes, they won the lawsuit, and well, this had to assimilate the salaries. But that speaks to the fact that there is always a pressure to lower the salaries of agricultural workers. Yes, so this is good. But that has a limit because, in the end, people say, well, this is not worth it. But well, we were talking about that one of the benefits that the undocumented are not entitled to. Despite the fact that they are paying taxes, they are contributing to that as Social Security. But there is another benefit that they are also not entitled to that works very similar to Social Security, and it is the Medicare service, which is the medical insurance for people who are also already retired. Most people are retired. There is medical, people who receive Medicare for other reasons a little earlier. But they are not entitled to it. And that is the second largest expense along with Social Security in the United States. These two being Social Security and Medicare, the two largest expenses in the United States. It seems to me that it is like a third of the United States budget goes to that. And the fact that it is not there and that they do not want these people to contribute to this expense is not only a shot in the shoe. It's already being done with a machine gun a little higher than the feet. So I wonder, what is the plan of these people who are waging so much war on immigrants? What is the plan to improve the economy, and doing something that is completely against improving the economy is to affect it? I want to see the truth. I'm curious, and in a certain way I say, well, maybe I'm wrong. But we are seeing all the data. What we are seeing is data from studies made by also their by some governmental, others are agencies that are not partisan. Either that is not what the Republicans or the Democrats are doing. Doing people who want to know what is happening and what the numbers are. They are economists that it doesn't matter what party they're from. They are doing this study. They are demonstrating this with numbers and with facts. What is the plan? You ask me, what is the Diana plan? Either you think, no lie, no more, no, but they are thinking. Either there are already projections, not that if. Also, another of these, as they say here in the United States, buzz. Are these terms that are super fashionable right now, or mass deportation? No. But we are also yet to find out how large the mass deportations will be. How feasible, how massive possible, how extensive the mass deportations will be. No, that remains to be seen, because the best they can deport 800 people and say, oh, this was 800 people one by one. That is a lot of people. It is a massive contribution, and well, the best. It is not like that. No, we are in the era of post-truth. So the post-truth, I like, what term? So it remains to be seen how massive the deportations will be. No, but yes, there are many discussions in the sense that if a certain number of people are deported, this will tremendously affect the economy, and it will 'Cause the things that we buy day to day, that food, this, devices, basic services, are going to cost us more if they manage to get a certain level of people out of the country. Yes, this one that you mentioned now about the number of people that are going to be deported. In addition to the fact that they are going to get people out who are contributing to the economy of the entire United States, whether at the federal level or at the state or local level of the cities. What do I know? That also costs a lot of money. Those deportations are going to have to take a lot more money from the budget that already has a deficit in the United States budget to be able to deport people. So they are going to spend money to take resources from themselves, right? And now comes the other issue, the issue of tariffs that they are going to charge for imports. Which is another issue that is economically completely contradictory. It is not going to help everyone. They tell him I don't know how many 50 or 70 Nobel Prize winners told the president or the president-elect, rather, to tell him that during the campaign. It is counterproductive. That does not work. The tariffs are what we are going to have to end up paying. We are the citizens of the United States. United we will have to pay more. It does not help the economy, but they do not pay attention. Now that you mention the post-truth, I remembered when the last administration of Donald Trump told a lie as big as the White House, and this one Leanne Conway, what was the name of the well? One of his political advisors, when the media told her, they said, hey, but what you are saying is completely false. So she said is that the truth has different interpretations. The also well-known phrase, I have other data, applying it to Mexico in case you did not understand. This comes from the morning press conferences and from López Obrador, in which what they say, let's say what some say, even if it is completely a lie, a false thing, they follow him in places. Yes, we are wrong, because they never apologize. They never apologize. It's not that yes, I have other data. It's that the truth has different interpretations. The truth has only one interpretation, which is the truth. The fact in English is one. It cannot be changed. It is proven. We cannot say two things that are completely different and both are true. And look, it's a very funny phenomenon because the data, the number, the pure and hard figure may be there and it's a single no. But opinions about that same number, about the number of taxes that migrants pay, about the amount that they end up committing a crime, about whether or not they use the basic services that other people are also paying with their taxes. All of those, there is an absolute number. No, a number that does not change for all of those that can be measured that exists there. But opinions around those numbers, well, there may be a myriad, no. This, and we ourselves have seen it with our audience on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube. The opinions that you have about the topics we deal with are also very varied, right? And many times they are not necessarily the same as those we have, and that's fine. It's perfectly fine. Yes, things have to be backed up with facts and data and numbers. We do our professional job of backing that up with facts and data and numbers. You were mentioning this about the people who, out of the number of people, there is a proportion that do not pay taxes, which is like an informal economy. What happens in all countries? People who have street stalls are not reporting anything because they sell their arepitas in Colombia or their tortillas in Mexico, and well, they don't give accounts to anyone. They don't pay their money there. But it is such a small issue that it is not affecting the final result. On the other hand, people who work for a check for a company or who own their own company and who are paying taxes and who may not have the documents, that's true, is documented, and that is a gigantic proportion. We are talking about billions of dollars that the state, federal, local government, whatever, every year, and that is money that the United States does not want. Wouldn't it be easier, instead of spending a lot of money trying to persecute undocumented immigrants, to achieve inclusive immigration reform that fixes the papers of so many millions of people who have already demonstrated for a long time that they are citizens? They deserve to be in this country and they deserve to have a work permit. I'm not going to run for president, so don't insist. But wouldn't it be easier? Really, I'm not saying this making it up. It's something we've said many times. Why not make it the easy way? Totally agree. I think the point of all this that we are saying is that the United States, like any sovereign country, has all the freedom to define its immigration policies. No, and if one enters this country violating those policies, then there are consequences, that's a reality. But the fact that there is a growth of anti-immigrant attitudes and feelings that are causing and making life very difficult for everyone is another thing. Completely different, and that's not fair, and with that we say goodbye, Happy New Year. No lies, Happy New Year, but why and if we say goodbye, Happy New Year in bad weather? Good face friend, see you next time we talk. Podcast extracted today by Milltown Credit Union, your reliable alternative to traditional banks. Real estate services in Abaso properties in Yucatan and the Riviera Mayondo. WhatsApp to the number on the screen. Condado Decking on Instagram for information and resources. In Spanish at the Sayadal Public Library you will find books, programs, events in Spanish for all ages. Visit us. New minimum wage in unincorporated areas of King County in 2025. Learn about the changes Comcast committed to advancing digital equity in Washington for more than 10 years. All rights reserved. Thank you, and until the next episode.